What do you notice first? The soft ring of a spoon, or the small shift in the ship's hum? You lift your napkin, and the band plays a gentle tune. We move with the stewards as they carry plates with steady hands. In the a la carte restaurant, Gatti's team keeps time, the room warm and sure. Then we reach the door. Your palm meets cold brass. The glass is fogged by the warm air from the room behind you. We'll step out together and ask a simple question. Does the night tell the truth? The day was too bright to show before we feel the late light on our faces again. Before we settle in, if you enjoy these relaxing journeys into the past, like the video and subscribe for more quiet history evenings. If there's a part of today you want to let go, or a memory tonight brings back, share it below. Now let's get comfortable and ease into tonight's journey. Afternoon light meets your face, and the ship's steady thrum rises through the soles of your shoes. The breeze is soft, it carries a taste of salt and a faint scent of paint and polish. You feel your shoulders drop. The day has been easy, and that ease seems to promise a quiet night. You lean into the thought and let the sound of the engines smooth your breathing. You find a place by the rail. The sea lies flat and bright, a level sheet with hardly a ripple, so calm it looks held in one breath. Your fingers touch warm metal. Far out, a thin line marks the edge of the world. A steward passes by and gives you a small nod. We nod back. The day taught us this rhythm. Kind eyes, measured steps, nothing rushed. The ship holds you like a calm hand. You hear scraps from tea hour still floating in your mind. Talk of the pool. The warm bath water felt like a quiet gift. A slow walk under the sun along the deck, where shoes clicked and voices dipped soft and kind. You remember small debates over cakes and jam, and who took the last sandwich. A low laugh, a cup set down just so. None of it felt important, which somehow made it matter most. A thin, cooler wind slips by and taps your collar. The deck gives a faint shiver, the kind a house makes when it settles for the evening. You look up at the pale sky and wonder if the night will be colder. Someone near you studies a timetable and laughs about arrival times, as if tomorrow is a promise that can be held in a pocket. Their light mood rubs off on you. Your small worry folds itself smaller and stays quiet. We follow a couple strolling, their arms close but not tight. They talk about letters to send in New York. They speak in simple plans and short sentences. They want to find a postbox quickly. They want to share good news across the ocean. You hear them agree to mail them first thing, and you picture the envelopes stacked in a neat hand. It feels like a doorway between days. Today's ink stepping into tomorrow's streets. You lean again and let your weight rest on the rail. The thrum below is steady and sure. It is not loud. It is simply there, like a heartbeat you do not have to think about. Afternoon warmth still clings to your coat. You breathe in varnish and salt, a mix of wood and sea that tells you the ship is alive and cared for. A child holds up a postcard and shows the shiny face of the ship. Their small finger taps the funnels. The card smells of ink and travel, and a store far from here. We glance along the deck and see the crew moving in quiet lines. Their work changes as daylight thins. You see a steward pause at a door with a list in his hand. He reads, nods, and moves on with a soft step. Another checks a latch, then a lamp, then the corner of a rug. Somewhere a boatswain's call might have sounded earlier, but this afternoon stayed light. No practice musters, no lifeboats swung out. The absence folds into the calm, a gap so gentle you almost miss it. You catch yourself listening for the sea and hearing almost nothing. The water sits smooth, as if the ship glides over glass. At this pace, the bow parts a mirror, and the sky lays itself down on the surface, unbroken. It feels like safety. It looks like certainty. You rest your chin on your knuckles and let that wide, even blue steady your thoughts. You remember the tea room again, but now the voices come more slowly in your mind. A woman compared hats and spoke about the breeze as if it were a person. A man measured his day by small things: 2 letters, a nap, a slow walk. The ship felt like a safe town, with walls made of steel and light. We carry that feeling with us out here, where the ocean looks like cool stone, smooth and endless. The afternoon has drawn its lines in clean strokes, crew at posts, passengers strolling, doors opening and closing with care. The band's practice drifted like a thin ribbon somewhere inside. Every piece fits the next. You feel it in your legs, in your hands, in the way you stand without thinking. The ship moves, and so do we, and the pattern makes sense. A young boy taps the glass of a promenade window and laughs when his breath fogs it. His mother wipes the circle clear with a cuff and smiles down at him. That small act lands in your chest. Warm air meets cold glass and the mark vanishes as fast as it came. You think of how daylight leaves the deck in the same way, slow, then all at once. You notice how the light tilts now. The sun sits lower, and the edges of things grow soft. Shadows lengthen. The railing cools beneath your palm. The hum does not change, but the way you hear it does. It moves from sound to feeling, from your ear to your bones. We let it carry us, the way a lullaby carries a child who does not know the words yet understands the tune. The day lays a soft blanket over what comes next. It folds neat corners around errands finished and small talk shared. It wraps the laughter from the boat deck and tucks in the smell of tea and the trace of a warm bath. The ship is big, but what makes you safe feels small. A nod from a steward, a cup placed where it belongs, a timetable folded with care. When night comes, it will borrow this calm and wear it like a coat. For a moment you close your eyes. You see the path you walked after lunch, the sun across the chairs, the tilt of a hat as someone said good afternoon. Your shoulders sink a little more. The cooler wind is no longer a worry. It is a hand on your cheek that says, "Now we rest." You open your eyes to the wide, level sea. It keeps its own counsel and lets the ship pass without fuss. We stand a bit longer, quiet, letting the last of the day pour over us. The engines do their steady work. The crew steps into evening stations with the ease of long practice. Cabins wait with fresh water and turned sheets. Somewhere, a brush lifts a coat free of lint and sets it just right. All of this tells a single gentle story. You are cared for, and the hours ahead will be kind. You feel a small lift in your chest, a held breath that can finally go. The day earned this quiet. It gave its best without asking much of you. Safety feels honest, because the hours were honest. The sea was calm. So calm, it forgot to show its waves. The hands were skilled. The talk was light. You let that truth settle where worry used to sit. We turn from the rail, carrying the afternoon like warm coins in our pockets. The passage calls with soft light and the promise of clean collars and steady hands. As we step inside, you catch the hush of the corridor and the slow rhythm of footsteps beyond. Your door waits with a soft latch in a room held in a gentle glow. You reach for it, ready to meet the next small ritual with the same quiet confidence. Dressing for dinner begins the moment the latch settles behind you and the room's hush meets your breath. Evening formality asks something clear of you on this ship. First-class guests show their best at the table, and you feel that standard move your hands before a word is said. What does it feel like to tie a bow when the whole ship feels certain? You step into your cabin, and the air is warm and calm. A steward has turned the light down a touch, so the edges grow soft. Your evening clothes wait on the chair, brushed and neat. The jacket looks ready to help you stand a little taller. The mirror shows your face, lit by a low glow that flatters and soothes. The carpet is thick under your feet and holds the day's steps like a secret. You hear the faint hum that runs through the afternoon and is still here, steady and kind. You touch the clean shirt. The fabric is cool and smooth. Your hands work by habit now. A sleeve finds your arm. A soundless breath leaves your chest. You set your collar with care. A small pause happens at the collar stud. Your fingers hover. A thought of home passes, quick as a bird at the window. Will the letter make it by Tuesday? You answer yourself with a half smile and push the stud through. The shirt settles. Your neck remembers how to sit straight. A soft murmur floats in from the hallway. You hear a footstep pass, then another. Someone laughs once, the warm kind that ends with a sigh. A gentle knock echoes from far down the corridor and stops. The air in here holds still, like water in a glass that has learned not to spill. We share the quiet with the ship and let it set the pace. Your fingers find the bow tie. They pinch and cross, pull and tuck. The cloth gives in small ways and then holds. The routine has a shape tonight. In rooms like this, people follow the same path. First-class dress rules guide the evening. Jackets, polished shoes, white shirts, smooth gloves. The rhythm of it sets the mood. Stewards move with their own pattern. Knock, check, adjust light, brush, step away. That care shaped the hours all day. It shapes this one too. You do not need to think much. You only need to follow the next small task. On the Titanic, dinner asks for the finest you own. Not for show alone, but to meet the room as it expects to be met. You slide the jacket on and feel the weight settle across your shoulders. The lapel smooths under your palm. It brings back the afternoon sun for an instant. Your skin warms with the memory. You see the rail, the bright sea, the small nod from the steward out on deck. You let that picture hover and then fade like breath on glass. Your hand goes to the cufflinks. The first clicks, then the second. The small metal faces catch the light and flash a quiet promise. You look fine, a companion says from the doorway. Their voice is soft, and it makes you calmer. Let's not be late for the band. You turn and see their smile, easy and sure. We nod and return to the mirror. The tie sits right now. The collar hugs your neck without a pinch. You take a slow breath and let it out. The jacket finds its line. The shoulders are square. The chin lifts a finger's width, no more. Down the hall the ship whispers to itself. The engines make a calm, deep note. It becomes your metronome. Each button follows that beat. Click, brush, straighten, pause. Your hands move when the hum rises and rest when it falls. You find the brush and run it along the sleeve. The bristles sing a faint rasp that pleases your ear. A dot of lint goes away. You try the shoes with your toes, then bend to fix the laces. The knot lies flat and neat. Somewhere 2 doors down, a hanger taps wood once, then stills. The mirror gives you back a person shaped by the day and readied by the night. You see colour in your cheeks from the sun. You see the rest around your eyes from tea and laughter. You see calm from the walk on the deck. The jacket, the tie, the clean shirt, these do not make you someone else. They let you be sure of yourself in a different room. The room you will enter is bright and warm. You can feel it already as a thought behind your ribs. In the corner, a small bell sits on the desk. It does not ring. It only reminds you that help is close if you need it. All day, stewards proved that with quiet steps and quick hands. You think of the knock and check pattern you heard earlier. It made the corridor sound like a soft clock. In this hour, the pattern goes on without fuss. Every lamp is set, every curtain pulled just so. It is a net in the evening. If you asked, a steward would lay out gloves, offer a lint brush, and lift a collar point by a breath because tonight's table calls for care that shows in little things. Your hands return to the bow. You check the fold, the angle, the little wings that should match. They do. The ship hums again, and your chest matches it. The low note moves through your bones. You find your gloves, if you need them, and tuck a handkerchief into the pocket. The square of cloth peeks out, crisp and white. You roll your shoulders and listen. The corridor holds a distant hush now. The small laugh from earlier has passed and left a smile behind. You touch the letter on the desk. The ink is dry. The envelope is addressed. You could carry it down tonight, or set it by the door for morning. You decide to keep it safe for one more sleep. Your hand rests on it and lingers. Then you let it go. The day is almost folded up. The night takes its turn. You turn off one lamp and leave the other on low. The room feels like a hand closing around a warm stone. Gentle, secure, firm. You take a last look at yourself. Not for vanity, for order, for calm. You stand straight and still for a breath, then two. The world seems to pause with you. The hum does not stop, but it feels softer for a moment, like it has wrapped itself in wool. Near the door, your companion smooths a cuff and nods, a small sign that we are equal to the room we are about to join. Dressing becomes calm work when the ship is sure of itself. The day's ease slides into evening pride, simple and clean. You have earned this neatness. You have earned this quiet. Every small act adds up to a soft kind of joy. The bow sits right, the shoes shine. Your shoulders are free, your mind is light. And under all of it is the simple rule everyone knows tonight. We go to dinner at our best, so the evening can meet us there. We reach for the handle together. The door opens on a hush of carpet and warm air. Your steps land without sound, caught by the soft pile. The corridor lights wait like a path of small moons. We move toward them and listen for the first signs of the night's next room. The faint ring of silver somewhere ahead, and a hint of warmth that says plates have just been set down. Silver and steam greet you in Luigi Gatti's rooms, the a la carte restaurant where dinner is a special choice, an extra charge table apart from the regular first-class saloon. You step inside and warmth settles on your shoulders at once. Lamps glow like small suns under soft shades. Linen lies smooth and quiet, white as clean snow. A small flower waits in a thin vase, its scent light, almost shy. Your chair welcomes you with a gentle scrape, and the cloth sighs as you take your place. You set your napkin on your lap. Your fingers feel the fine weave. Around you, voices move low and easy, almost a hush. A waiter steps near with a calm nod. The air holds butter, warm stock, a breath of wine. Your eyes drift over the room. French mahogany panels catching light in neat lines, with small touches of gold leaf on the edges. Not loud, just sure. It feels like a promise kept. You lean back and breathe slowly. For a second you pause. Will the sea stay this smooth? Your thoughts lean toward the windows and the dark beyond them. Then a waiter stops by and says, "Lovely evening," with a soft smile that steadies your chest. We share a smile and let the worry fold small again. The ship's hum reaches even here, a low thread under the sounds of plates and voices. From the doorway, a calm waltz slips in and settles like warm air. It links tables that never meet. Knives lie side by side, straight and neat, shining without showing off. The glasses hold still, as if they know their place. You hear a tiny ring when silver meets china. It is not sharp. It is light and round. A little bell that says, "Yes, all is well." The first card rests by your plate. It changes each day, they say, and tonight it feels like a small story. Oysters, a clear consommé, roast duckling, fine things offered for 5 shillings, the price of this evening's course in this room. Breakfast and lunch cost less here, 3 and 3 6, but each meal carries the same quiet pride. You run your eyes down the lines, not racing, just taking them in. The waiter glides back and speaks softly about the courses to come. You nod. He moves away without a sound, like a dancer who knows every step. Time in here stretches a bit and then settles. You notice how the team moves. Their accents fold together, French and Italian voices, quick and soft. Gatti's staff is large, more than 60 trained hands working as one. The head chef came over from Olympic, a man named Rousseau, and you sense his steady hand in the way the plates arrive. One lifts a lid, another sets bread at just the right angle, a third refills a glass without asking, as if he saw your thirst enter the room before you did. The rhythm settles you. Courses arrive in a steady order, each one sure of itself. Nothing rushes, nothing drags. We fit our breaths to their pace and find our shoulders lower, our hands quieter. A plate arrives with a soft curl of steam. The warmth reaches your face. A spoon brushes china with a clear, soft, certain sound. You lift it and meet butter and light salt. Rich but clean. It tells your mouth to slow down. The table settles deeper into the evening. Across the room, a low laugh swells and fades like a wave that knows not to break inside. Another plate finds you. The sauce has a sheen that catches the lamp and holds it for a moment. You take a small bite and feel heat and spice in balance, each part in its place. The silver rests easily in your hand. Your napkin edge folds on your knee. A slice of bread takes the last trace of sauce like a promise fulfilled. The card on the table keeps you company, a quiet guide from one bite to the next. Your mind slides to another dining room you passed earlier. There the fare is simpler and good. Rice soup, roast beef with brown gravy, plum pudding. That is third class tonight, served with care in its own space. The memory sits beside this moment without envy. Each room feeds its people and gives comfort to travellers crossing a cold sea. You nod to that thought, then return to your own plate. The waltz drifts a little closer, then back again. Someone near the door whispers to a friend, and both smile. Knives rest in perfect lines. The flour leans a little, as if following the music. You take water, then a sip of wine. The taste opens and lingers, then walks away without fuss. You feel your jaw loosen, your brow smooth. The hum of the ship seems to meet the waltz in the middle and agree on one calm pace. A new dish arrives, lighter than you expect. The texture yields and then holds, like silk with a hidden thread. You look up. The waiter stands just far enough not to crowd you, close enough to see if you need a little more of anything. His eyes are clear, his steps sure. He notes the glass level, the bread plate, and the fold of your napkin, then moves on. Nothing calls for notice, yet everything speaks of care. You listen to the room breathe. Chairs move an inch. A cork eases, not pops. Silver lands with the smallest kiss on china. You let your fork rest. You take a long breath and feel it all the way down. Course by course, comfort grows. Each plate tells you the ship is steady, that the path ahead is plain and bright. We trust the hands we can see because they match the hands we do not see down below, where heat and metal keep their own pace. Another small ring of silver, another quiet step behind your chair. The last savoury gives way to the sweet, a thin crack under your spoon, and a soft bloom of sugar on your tongue. Warmth sits in your chest, your thoughts slow to match the waltz. It feels like the room had taught you to breathe, as if it lent you its calm. You lean back. The flower seems brighter now, though the lamps have not changed. The linen holds its smooth face, the card rests with the edges neat. You let your fingers trace the rim of your glass. You do not think of clocks. You think only of hands that knew what to do, and of plates that came when they should, and of the steady hum that wove the whole hour into one cloth. We share a last sip and a grateful nod for the service. You feel held by the room. The ship feels like a house that knows your name. The sea outside becomes a story, told in a softer voice. You fold your napkin, not tight, just enough to show the meal has ended. The chair slides back with a whisper, and the floor seems to breathe out with you. We rise with full hearts and quiet minds. The doorway carries a thread of music, warmer now as we step towards it. We follow that gentle line into the corridor, letting the night shape our pace. The band's gentle thread finds you first, a calm line of sound, meeting you mid-step and inviting you closer. Notes float ahead of you, warm as lamplight. They brush the walls and your sleeve. The carpet hushes your feet. The glow from the lounge spills over the threshold and draws you in. A small pause cuts through the tune. In that breath, you hear the engines again. Steady, deep, patient. The note returns and settles the room like a calm hand. We stand at the door for a second, taking it in. The ceiling lights hold the shine in the wood. The air smells faintly of polish and tea. You find a chair near the music room and ease down. The seat accepts you without a sound. The players share a nod, just a tilt at the corner of the eye. You watch their bows rise together, as if they share one breath. A piano key lays a path, gentle and sure. The violin walks that path in slow steps that feel like a kind voice after a long day. They choose pieces you know from other quiet nights, familiar songs that leave room for talk, easy tunes that tell your heartbeat to slow down. The music marks the hour like soft bells. It gives people something to lean on while they sit, sip, and recall the sun. We let the melody set our pace, the way footprints mark a slow walk after supper. A waltz glides past the chairs. It does not hurry. It moves like a ribbon on slow water. Another round, someone whispers from a table behind you. You shake your head with a small smile and keep listening. Your empty glass rests cool against your fingers. You set it down and feel a light tap as it meets wood, then quiet again. Laughter from the boat deck flickers in your mind, the kind you heard this afternoon when a gust grabbed a hat and chased it down the rail. You see the hat spin once, twice, and the owner bends and catches it just in time. That bright moment folds into the rhythm now. The waltz gathers it up, smooths the edges, and turns the day's joy into a calm echo. The room shifts gently as people settle. Voices drop to a low murmur. Heads lean closer. The band holds the thread that ties the room together. You watch a cellist breathe with his bow, eyes soft, hands sure. The pianist glances up, then down, trusting the pattern they share. Their work is quiet, but it reaches every table. The melody makes shapes in the air. It turns people into gentle shadows that move slowly and speak kindly. A woman touches the rim of her cup and sets it down in time with the bar line. A man folds his timetable and slides it into a pocket in the space between notes. The rhythm gives everyone a way to be still without feeling stuck. You let your shoulders drop. Your neck loosens. The long muscles in your back forget to grip. Breath comes deeper, in and out, steady as the beat in the bass. You're not trying to relax. You're only sitting, but the room does the rest. The day's steps, the sun on your coat, the warm food, the soft chair, everything you carried in your body finds a place to rest. The song shifts key, a small door opening to a new hall. The violin lifts higher and tilts the light a touch. The piano answers with a kind reply. You watch a steward cross the far edge of the room, slow and quiet, adjusting a shade with two careful fingers, then pausing to listen for a second before moving on. He knows the music helps people breathe better. He treats it like a lamp. Your mind drifts to the schedule you made earlier. Breakfast on deck if it's warm. Letters to send soon after. The page you wrote before dinner lies folded in your pocket, safer than it was on the table. You tap it once and let your hand rest. The tune leans on that thought and holds it without weight. The players glide into a piece that almost feels like talk. You hear a question in one phrase, an answer in the next. The room follows without words. Even the clink of a spoon falls where it should. Someone coughs once and then seems sorry to break the line, but the sound slips into the bass and disappears. You notice how the engines meet the music. The deep hum sits under the melody, like a road under a cart. The ship carries the band, and the band carries the room. Tonight, their thread crosses more than these chairs. Earlier, they played in the first-class lounge, filling that panelled space with the same calm light. Later, if asked, they will take the same poise into other corners. The palm court by day, the deck by night when weather allows, letting the sound travel where people gather. The two sounds make one frame, and we fit inside it. You think of the cold outside and the dark sea, but it feels far away. The warm notes stand between you and the night air, like a friendly coat held open. The waltz draws to a close and leaves one note hanging. A small bird at the edge of a branch. Silence opens like a soft curtain. Footsteps shift. A chair moves an inch and stops. Then a new tune begins, slower, with a slight sway. You watch the violinist's wrist, the way it floats and sets, floats and sets. Practice lives in that small motion. Care does too. A memory of the tea hour returns. The gentle clack of cups, the soft debate over jam, the smile that passed between strangers who would never meet again after this voyage. The music turns that memory into something you can hold. It makes space for both the bright noise of day and the quiet need for rest that comes now. You study the faces in the near light. People carry many kinds of days into this room. Some long, some lonely, some full of talk. The band meets them where they sit and smooths the edges. You see this happen the way you see steam fade off a plate. not all at once, but surely. The tune reaches shoulders, eyes, and hands, and makes them kinder for a while. Another piece begins with a familiar shape. The piano sets the ground. The strings place a soft roof over it. The air holds steady. In the back of your mind is a fact you do not need to name, that these men will keep playing as the night deepens, even if the room changes, even if the music must move from lounge to open air. For now, the thread stays indoors, weaving through wood and lamp glow and quiet talk. A final cadence gathers itself. Your breath waits with it. The last chord sits down like a soft weight on a bed. It fades into the hum below and leaves the air warm. You feel lighter by a little, as if someone took one worry and set it on a shelf. We rise just as the sound thins to nothing you can hear. The stair hall waits beyond, calm and bright. Outside the room, a softer world takes over. Carpet underfoot, low lamps, careful voices. The music lingers behind your ribs, while another pattern comes forward. Quiet steps, glances, hands that keep order without asking for thanks. Quiet ballet meets you in the hall the moment you turn the corner. You feel the soft give of the carpet and the warm, low light along the walls. A steward moves past with quiet shoes and a calm glance. A tray, a folded list, a small nod. Another follows with a water jug wrapped in a clean cloth to catch the chill. Their steps are light, almost part of the hum under your feet. You slow down without thinking. The ship asks for slower breaths here. Someone pauses at a door. He checks his numbered badge against a brass plate, glances at a small card, and listens for a second. Then he moves on. You sense the careful order, as if each doorway holds a small story, and someone is making sure the pages turn at the right time. We watch the way his hand trails the wall, counting panels in a rhythm only he needs. It feels like a soft clock no one else hears. A whisper rides the hallway. Cabin 36 needs an extra blanket. It's said close to the mouth, enough for one pair of ears. Another whisper answers, fresh water to the sweet. The words pass like a note from hand to hand. You catch only those two threads, but you can feel the rest of the net. The ship keeps its promises this way, in small sounds that barely ripple the air. There are hundreds of crew, more than 900 souls working, yet the corridor holds steady because each person keeps to a path that fits the next. A steward bends to catch a rug edge with 2 fingers. He smooths it flat and gives a brief smile to himself, like a job found and finished in one breath. The day's busy pride turns into night's gentle caretaking, and you can see it in these motions. No rush now, just neatness and kindness and the wish that no one stubs a toe in low light. We carry that wish with us. Another door opens and a glow spills out, then closes again. The tray lifts. A soft tap of china. Cutlery rests without a clink. You hear the band as a faint thread far away, pulled thin by walls and carpet. The corridor smells of polish and a trace of coal carried in by coats. It is a lived-in scent that says the work below keeps time for the quiet above. You remember the bustle at embarkation days ago, wide smiles, stacks of trunks, whistle blowing, names called, hands waved, babies soothed, porters guiding steps and bags together. That same energy still moves here, but now it rests inside the rules of night. It holds its shape like bread set to cool, firm at the edges, soft at the centre. We let that settled strength hold us too. The stewards share looks that talk faster than words. One points with his chin toward an alcove. Another shifts a glass on a side table so it sits away from the edge. A small badge flashes and is gone as a sleeve moves. These details feel small when you name them, but they feel large when you leave them. They are the reason a quiet hallway stays quiet. They are how a ship feels like home. You pass a niche where a tall urn waits, brass shining dimly. A boy in uniform checks the tap, then the catch, then the cup below. He wipes the drip and folds the towel again. His hands move as if trained by the hum itself. The hum is not loud, but it is always there. It reaches your chest in a steady line and tells your breath where to land. A steward's cart comes from a crossway. No rattles, no squeaks. Someone oiled that wheel before the lamps were lit. On the top rests a covered dish, a small fever bottle, and a stack of folded towels. On the lower shelf, a book with a paper marker. The cart slows by a door. A knuckle taps once, waits. A voice inside answers, soft and kind. The door opens to a narrow slice of lamplight and closes again. The cart moves on. In a corner, near a porthole, a man in a dark vest checks his watch against the hall clock. He nods and writes a tiny mark on his list. A small number gleams on his badge when he turns. You see other stewards making the same checks, each at a different point along the corridor. Evening rounds align their work like stars softly finding a line in the sky. They don't say it, but you can see how watches and duties meet. Little tasks keep the rhythm smooth. The ship breathes easier because of them, and so do you. We listen for a moment with our eyes closed. The pattern shows itself. The hum below, the low steps on carpet, the mild sigh of doors, a whisper past, a tray lifted, a cloth folded. No one sound takes the lead. Together they form a gentle score. It's the kind of music you only hear when your day has slowed down and your body is ready to rest. Down the hall, a steward lifts a suitcase onto a stand and flips the handle down quietly so it won't fall in the night. He catches your eye and gives a small greeting. He carries in his face the same calm you felt at tea, only more focused, like the last light before dusk turns to night. The sun is gone, but the warmth of routine remains. Your shoulders answer with a small drop. You think of how a city uses street sweepers after markets close. Brooms clear the day's crumbs so the morning can smell clean. Here, the brooms are hands and lists. The sweep is a smile and a folded towel. The night is being made ready for sleep, one soft act at a time. We stand in that care for a breath and let our bones understand it. Another whisper. Ice for the carafe, a reply. On it, no hurry in the words, only promise. You hear the ice when it comes, a muffled clink inside cloth. The sound cools the air in your mind. A door opens, the clink stops. The door closes. Quiet again. Their steps blend with the hum, making a soft pattern behind the scenes. When they pass, the air seems smoother. You don't see the effort, but you feel the result. The corridor has no sharp corners now. The night can flow through it with ease. You take a deeper breath than you meant to, and it feels good. Knowing hands are near lets you relax more deeply. It's the same feeling you had on deck when the rail was warm and the sea was flat. Trust builds in layers. A nod at the door, a folded rug, a fresh glass of water, a tiny badge that tells you a name and a number if you need to ask. We collect these layers without thinking and wear them like a cloak. We come to the end of the corridor. The floor tilts a hint beneath your feet. Not enough to sway you, just enough to remind you the ship is a moving world. Ahead, heavy doors wait. Their brass handles hold a colder shine. Through the glass you see the faintest blur where warm air meets the dark beyond. We reach together and pause at that seam, the place where indoor care gives way to the sea's clear breath, and the night asks us to step forward and listen. The door, the brass, the fogged glass meet you now, plain and close. Your palm finds the handle, and the brass is cool, almost damp from other hands. The glass holds a faint fog from the heat behind you. It blurs the glow of the lamps into soft halos. Your skin keeps a little of that warmth, the kind that lingers after bright rooms and kind voices. You feel the band's last chord settle in your chest like a low ember. We stand with it a moment and listen for the next sound. You hesitate. The carpet still holds your steps, gentle and sure. The air inside smells of polish and tea. Your sleeves keep the staircases light, golden and calm. Outside, the door shows a darker shape, a thin slice of night along the edge. The cold presses its case without moving. It waits with quiet patience. You feel it even before the latch turns, like a clear thought at the back of the mind. We push together. The seal breaks with a soft sigh. Night air slides in, thin and clean, a little sharp. It lifts the hair on your wrist and slips under your collar. Your breath tightens, then smooths out. The hinge mutters, and the door eases wide. The hum of the ship sounds clearer here, less wrapped in carpets and cloth. Your ears adjust, your cheeks wake up. That night, the Atlantic air turned near freezing. Warm rooms sent their breath to the glass, and it fogged at once like a slow cloud. You see the blur on the pane beside you grow and fade with each swing of the door. A circle cleared by a hand shows black beyond, deep and plain. The sky's new moon dark and very clear. Stars sit cold and steady, as if nailed in place, and their light does not help the sea below. You step out and pull your collar close. The fabric rasps softly against your neck. Someone near the hatch says, "Brisk, isn't it?" Another answers, "Keeps you awake?" Their words are low, almost lost to the hum. The door closes behind, and the warm light becomes a memory at your back. We stand in the dark edge for a breath and let our eyes open wider. The deck gives a small groan, wood and steel settling into the cold. It is not a complaint. It is the sound an old house makes when night arrives. Your hand touches the rail and finds it colder than you thought. The metal holds the day's last warmth only in tiny places. Your fingers shift, then settle. The sea is near silent, as if it too took a slower breath for the evening. We carry the band's last note into the dark. Out here, it becomes a whisper. It threads between wind and hum, and finds a seat inside you. It is softer, but it does not vanish. You can still feel the way it held the room a few minutes ago. Now it holds the edges of this deck, and the open air, and the long black reach ahead. The promenade lamps leave pools of dim light that fade fast. Between them, the world turns thick with shadow. The glass along the veranda fogs and clears in patches, a slow breathing you can see. Through the nearest clear spot, the sea looks like dark iron with a thin shine drawn over it. Waves are small tonight, a flat calm that hides the line of any ice. Their tops hardly break. The quiet makes the space feel larger, like a hall with the far wall gone. You stand with your back to the door and let your body find the ship's rhythm again. The cold helps you notice what you missed inside. The hum is lower out here. It runs through the boards and into your shoes. It steadies your knees. Far forward, you hear a bell, maybe for time, maybe for a watch. It comes thin and true, then slips away into the wind. We think of the day and how its warmth reached into every hour. Tea and talk, a slow walk, the easy laugh when someone dropped a spoon and no one minded. That ease sits with you now, but feels smaller in the open dark. It changes shape. It becomes a blanket you hold tight at the edges. Not fear, just a sharper kind of listening. You let the cold show you where you are. Another pair steps out of a door further down. They pause like you did. Breath shows in small clouds. The woman rubs her hands together. The man pats his chest pocket, then sets his palm on the railing and pulls it back with a start. The two share a quiet smile at the shock of the cold, then fold closer to the wall where the wind is less. Their footsteps sound hollow and quick for the first few paces, then slower as they settle. You think of letters you plan to send when the ship docks, addresses in neat lines, names that carry warmth. Those plans felt bright in the restaurant. Out here, they feel steady, like stones in a pocket. The night makes simple things feel important. The shape of your keys, the fold of your handkerchief, the weight of your coat. We notice what we carry. The glass behind you keeps breathing. Fog thins, then blooms again, where someone's handprint fades, leaving a ghost shape that slides into mist. The door opens once more for a steward, and a slice of amber light cuts across the deck, falls on your shoes, then ends as the door closes. The return to dark feels honest. The cold air holds its line. Your ears pick up more now. A faint creak from a davit, a soft clack from a loose rope touch, a footstep overhead that crosses and stops. The wind moves from your right to your left, a quiet hand smoothing your sleeve. Your nose stings for a second, then eases. Salt sits on your lips, a fine grit you taste when you wet them. The night is simple and exact. It gives just what it has. The ship feels alive but unhurried. It goes on in the path set for it long before dinner. The coal makes the hull sound different, like a low drum with a tight skin. You tap the rail once without thinking. The sound is dull and small. You pull your hand back and warm your fingers under your arm. They answer slowly, tingling back to life. We stand a little longer. The stars seem to multiply the longer you look. Some are large and bold, some are flecks you only see when you look beside them, not at them. With no moon to light a path, the dark sits deeper over the sea, and the ship's own lamps draw soft borders you can trust. The deck shows a modest path beneath your feet, and you let your steps catch that line. You feel awake in a new way. The air has asked you to pay attention, and you agreed. The day's softness is still with you, but now it sits beside this clean edge. Both can live in the same hour. Warmth in your coat, cold on your face, safety in your steps, open space all around. Your mind draws one slow breath after another and takes stock of itself. We start our slow walk along the promenade. Our feet find the boards without sound. Breath shows in little clouds, then fades. You keep one hand near your collar. The other brushes the rail now and then, just enough to know it is there. The ship moves forward. So do we. The door and its brass and its fogged glass drift back into the shadows behind us as lamps form small islands ahead, and the wide hidden sea keeps pace just beyond their reach. Promenade voices meet you softly as your eyes settle, and the hidden sea holds its breath beside you. This is the first-class promenade, quiet, sheltered, meant for unhurried steps and low talk. You feel the boards give a little under your shoes. Lamps glow in small islands, gentle and steady. Between them, space turns into a deep, quiet black. Your steps sound hollow, like you're walking through a wide breath. We slow down together. The railing is cool against your glove, and the ship's hum folds around us like a low, even note. Laughter drifts from inside, thin as a thread pulled through cloth. The door closes, and the sound fades. Out here, you hear wind and hum, and then nothing else. Your chest opens to the cold, and your ears learn the small sounds again. A rope shifts once, a davit creaks softly, then holds. Your shoes whisper as you walk, heel to toe, matching the rhythm below. A couple stands by the rail ahead of you, their heads lean close. You hear, "Breakfast on deck if it's warmer." The words fall into the air and sit there, light and hopeful. They point toward the bow, then to the sky, as if the weather might answer. We pass with a nod that feels like a promise. Plans help the night feel friendly. A simple plan can be enough. The lights inside spill onto the glass and turn it into dim mirrors. Your eyes pull between glow and dark, unsure which to choose. You blink and look outward again. The black stays smooth and sure, like a wall before sleep. Even the waves keep their voices low. Your breath shows for a moment and fades. You press your hand to your coat and let the collar rise a little higher. First-class decks give you a quiet loop to walk, a soft path for talk, a place to stretch the day into evening. The lamps ease the edge of the night, asking nothing loud from you. The rail repeats itself the whole length of the ship, post after post, like a kind line drawn by a steady hand. We follow that line and let the air clean our thoughts. A steward comes towards you, shoulders bent to the air. "Evening," he says, his voice small in the open space. You answer with the same word, and it slides past you both without a ripple. He keeps moving, steps sure, hands tucked. He checks a latch with his elbow and nods to himself. The sea takes the sound and keeps it, like a secret. You let an easy day replay in pieces, a friendly card game after lunch. Your hand was average, but the jokes were good. A nap that ran 10 minutes longer than you meant. The soft indent of the cushion, the quiet weight of the blanket, the way your body thanked you. You think of the letter you half finished before dinner, the lines you shaped with care, the way the ink opened and shone, and then went dull as it dried. Those small things walk beside you now. They make the night feel both real and kind. Your eyes adjust, the lamps feel less bright. The black loosens a shade. The sea looks like iron velvet, dark, smooth, and almost not moving at all. The night is flat calm, a stillness that comforts and conceals at once. You lean on the rail and feel a faint tremble travel through it, steady and unbothered. It keeps its own time, older than clocks, older than fine rooms. We take that time into our chests and breathe with it, one even breath, then another. You glance up. The sky's heavy with stars. They look cold, but they're sure. You find a big one, then a small cluster, then another line you think you've seen in a book. You look back to the water and find no line at all between sky and sea, only a slow dark mirror. With no moon and almost no waves, the world hides details. It asks you to trust what you feel instead of what you see. The deck curves forward and the wind turns a little sharper. You hear the flag rustle, then lie flat again. Near a door, 2 chairs sit empty, their canvas still warm from an earlier hour. You touch the arm of one and find the wood cold anyway. You think about the hands that moved these chairs in the afternoon, how someone set them just so. so people could stare across the wide, bright water and talk about nothing that meant a lot. Inside, a memory from tea comes back. The small chime of a spoon, the smell of orange peel from a cup, a name spoken twice, then a laugh. All of that had edges and light. Out here, the edges are soft. The sounds are fewer, but they land deeper. You feel your body change to match the space. Your shoulders step down from the day. Your jaw lets go. Your eyes look long, then kind. Another couple passes you. Their conversation is a soft line that lifts and falls. You catch only right home and yes, first thing. The plan drifts behind them like a ribbon and then disappears. The door opens far down the promenade. A wedge of warm light spills across the boards and dies when the door closes. Night takes its place again, with no complaint. We pause at a clear spot on the glass. A faint breath mark from someone's hand lingers, then fades. Your fingertips tingle in the cold. The ocean holds its face still. Without waves to show you where anything is, distance becomes a guess. You run your thumb along the rail's edge and feel a tiny nick in the varnish. Small human marks help at times like this. They anchor you to what you can touch. You realize comfort can be loud. Warm rooms hum with talk, forks, music. Chairs scrape a little. Shoes move and stop. You notice how the ocean prefers a quiet voice. It says enough with a low drum and a bit of wind, and it asks you to listen more than you speak. You let the whoosh enter you, and it makes a larger room inside your chest. A bell rings somewhere forward. It comes thin and clean, then goes. Your ears keep the place where it was, like a candle after you blow it out. You count 6 slow steps and stop, not for any reason, only to feel the floor hold you. The boards are sure. The ship moves through the dark with a kind of simple faith. We borrow a little of that faith and hold it in our hands like a smooth stone. You lean again and test the edge of the rail with your glove. It is colder now. Your breath makes a pale cloud and vanishes. You think of how the night looks so clear and kind, and yet keeps secrets under its smooth skin. A calm sea gives nothing away. No fringe of white at an edge, no splash to draw the eye. The hidden sea lives up to its name, and you feel small in the best way, carried and quiet. A steward's shadow passes the window behind you. He is a dark shape against the warmth, and then gone. Somewhere a hinge murmurs. Somewhere a latch finds its seat. The ship's routines keep their steady line, even when the world outside looks like one long dark room. That thought settles your shoulders. Order, then rest, rest, then sleep. Your feet start again. The lamps mark the way back. You feel the pull of the staircase, and the thought of music, small and warm. The door ahead shows its brass edge. Glass breathes with the room behind it. You brush your sleeve and watch the fabric catch the light, and then the dark. The night has done its quiet work. It trimmed the day down to what you wanted to keep, and it left the rest on the far side of the rail. We turn toward the staircase, carrying the hush with us. As we walk, a question rises like a low light in your mind. While we savour warmth, who watches the cold line ahead? You have not answered it yet. You keep the soft pace and the easy breath, ready to step indoors and let the next quiet doorway tell its own story. Doors pass like steady breaths, but another world runs just above your head, the bridge you don't see. While warm rooms fade behind you, officers keep their posts in the clear, moonless cold. Coats open, caps low, eyes trained forward. You do not see their faces from here, only shapes set against the black. Men speaking in short, quiet lines, hands close to the wheel, and telegraph. Somewhere up there, words trade hands like small tools. Not many, and none wasted. The air is colder by a few degrees near the stair that leads up. You feel it touch your cheek and move on. A gentle bell rings for a time. It is thin and clean, not a show, just a mark. The sound slips down the stairwell, touches the carpet, and fades. Your body notes it without thinking, the way you noticed the band's pause earlier. A message might be waiting, another might be missed. You hold that thought like a folded paper in your pocket. It presses and then lies flat. You keep walking. The ship hums the same low note. It curls along the wall panels and through the soles of your shoes. We listen to the hall and hear only what we need. A step, a hinge that never squeaks, a whisper held close. Your mind drifts to the two men you met at tea. Their hands rested on the edge of the table, fingers ink-stained, nails short, eyes bright from long hours. They spoke softly about lines and slips and the way sound travels through a wire. Tonight they sit in a narrow room with a desk full of dials and switches. Headphones press their ears. A lamp throws a small circle of yellow light on a page. They lean over it as the ship glides on. You picture their work as a braid. One strand holds notes for mothers, for friends, for businesses waiting across the water. Another strand holds words about weather and ice and ships nearby. They must keep both strands clear. They must not let one knot the other. All day, ice reports have come and gone. 5 warnings in clean strokes, ship names, positions, cold facts that ask to be carried forward without fuss. The room smells of warm metal and paper. A coil clicks. A key lifts and falls. We think of them as the ship's small ears, always open. Somewhere a pencil taps a margin. The tip makes a tiny dot, then another. Someone says, "Noted," and a slip goes into a file with a neat motion. The sound is light, almost nothing. Yet it changes how people breathe on decks above. It changes what a man looks for when he stares into the dark. The act is small, the meaning is large. You hold that balance for a second and then let it rest. You recall the steadiness at dinner. Plates arrived when they should. The band kept a slow thread. The chairs moved with a hush. That trust had hands behind it. Not the ones you saw. Other hand you did not. The same is true here. A doorway you pass without a second look guards a different kind of comfort. Your chest feels it, even if your mind does not name it. We walk by another door, painted the same, brass the same. It looks like any door, which is the point. Safety often looks like a quiet doorway. It is easier to sleep when the seams do not show. The officer above takes a slow breath against the cold and keeps his eyes ahead. The wheel turns a hair. No one in the lounge would feel it. The point of routine is that it hides itself while it works. The ship moves as if nothing could trouble it. The floor is steady. The lamps hold. The carpet gives softly under your steps. A steward's shadow crosses and goes. You notice how the hall seems to clear a path for you, the way a good street does in a well-kept town. Behind that calm lies count and check and note and file. Up there, a glance to the left, a nod, a hand on a lever. Down here, the hum lays a warm line for you to follow. You pass a stair and feel a thin draught of cold from the upper deck. It carries a hint of salt and coal, nothing sharp, only the trace of work done out of sight. The bell for time comes again and seems to land on your shoulder. You let it sit for the length of a breath, then it melts into the hall. Your mind has fewer edges now. It holds what it needs, and not much more. At the end of the passage, you stop for half a second and listen. The hall answers with the soft patience of linen smoothed by a palm. You think of the operators again, Phillips and Bride, Marconi men, quick hands at a key worn shiny from use. One rubs his temple and smiles at a small joke no one will hear. The other makes a mark and aligns the paper stack. A line crackles. A hand moves. The key drops and lifts and drops with focused care. Your heartbeat matches that tiny cadence without asking your permission. We keep moving. Routine is a road you can walk in the dark. Steps find their places. Eyes find their marks. Even the doors stand at the same quiet angle, and the brass shines the same. You let the night graft itself to the day you carried. Tea, music, a walk, a letter half done. Those same pieces now sit beside the thought of watchers at the front and listeners at the desk. Gratitude comes in a small, wordless way. It starts in your shoulders and moves down your arms. You don't need to say anything. You're not sure who you would thank or how. You only feel kinder toward the door you pass and the ceiling above it. You think, stay steady to the men who see what you cannot. You think, keep listening to the two who sort the lines. The carpet pools light around your shoes. Your steps are slow now, not from doubt, but from trust. When a world runs on rhythm, you can relax into it. The ship carries hundreds of nights like this in its plan. Tonight feels like one of those nights. You let that feeling guide your breath. It lengthens, it then settles. The hum stays the same as always. A soft talk rises from the lounge ahead. The sound spills into the hall and smooths the crisp edge left by the cold stare. Warm air reaches you first and then the glow. Your coat loosens at the neck. You hear the soft glass of a door touch its frame somewhere behind you, and then there is only the music's thin line and the murmur of late voices. Safety often looks like a quiet doorway, and you have moved past a few of them. They held on while you ate and listened and walked. They hold on now as you near the room that will end your evening. A thought lands without weight. Little good nights gather in places like this. We turn the last corner together. The lounge waits with low lamps and low talk. A small island of ease. Steam will rise from one last cup. Words will sit light on the tongue and drift away, leaving the night softer than before. Last cups and last words find you where the light is low and kind. Your hands rest around a small cup that warms your fingers, and the hour asks for only easy talk and simple good nights. Which goodbye tonight will become a memory someone keeps forever? You sit with a small cup that warms your fingers. Steam rises in a thin line and disappears. The room rests under low lamps. Faces soften at the edges, eyes kind and a little tired. You feel your shoulders settle into the chair. The tablecloth is smooth beneath your wrist. A spoon lies quiet beside your saucer, ready if needed, but not asking anything of you. The air holds a faint mix of tea, lemon peel, and a last breath of wine. Voices fall into a low murmur. Chairs draw closer to tables as people lean in. A waiter passes with careful steps, gathering near empty cups and a stray plate with 2 small cakes left in a neat row. The band is far away now. Only a trace of melody hangs like a thread in the corners. You sip. The taste is simple, warm, and steady. A friend stands behind your chair and touches the back lightly. "See you at breakfast," they say, as if morning is a small door that will open on cue. You answer, "Of course, wait," without thinking it might be a promise you cannot make. The words sound easy in the soft air. They leave your mouth and sit between you, like a folded napkin. You slide a half-written letter from your pocket. The envelope has a faint crease at one edge. The paper inside is smooth, the blue lines straight as rails. Your eyes find the last line you wrote before dinner. You read your own handwriting, as if it belongs to someone else. You fold the paper in on itself and make a firm crease. You plan to finish it in the morning sun, at a table by a window, where light will set the ink shining for a moment before it dries. You note the address in New York with care, the street name neat and certain. The city waits like a bright word you can almost taste. Around you, simple plans float like small boats in a quiet harbour. Breakfast on deck if the wind is kind. A game of quoits after the afternoon tea. A letter to post as soon as the gangway meets the pier. A cousin to meet on the New York side. A cab to a hotel with tall windows. A visit to a shop that someone praised at tea. The day's ease has walked right into the night and kept its shoes on. People talk softly because they trust the morning. You feel that trust inside your chest, as calm is the hum below your feet. A last gentle tap of silver touches china. A spoon rests in a cup and spins once, then slows, then stops. Someone rises and slides their chair back. The legs whisper on the carpet. Another reaches for a shawl and draws it around her shoulders. A waiter clicks a small lamp lower. The sound so light you almost don't hear it. These are small signs that an evening has reached its soft shore. You hold a tiny moment, a hand on your sleeve. Good night, just that, with a small smile. You nod, eyes kind, and feel the warmth of being seen. Not for the clothes or the place, but for the way your day has made you gentle by this hour. The hand leaves, the feeling stays. You taste the last sip in your cup. It has cooled, but it carries the same calm. The engine's hum fills the gaps between words. It makes a low pillow of sound under the room. Not loud, never loud, but always there. It smooths the edges of conversation and lights. It tells your body that work continues somewhere you do not have to look. Your breath follows it. In, out, even and sure. Your back rests deeper into the chair. You think of the afternoon. The sun was across the deck chairs. The laugh that broke when the wind took a hat. The note the steward slipped under your door, with the day's times neatly printed. Those small things gave the night its gentle shape. You did not set out to earn such a rest, but you did. By walking, by talking, by doing nothing fast, you set your cup on its saucer. The small ring it makes is clear and polite. Your fingertips trace the rim once. The glaze is cool and smooth. A crumb left on the plate looks like a tiny island. You brush it away, and it vanishes into the napkin fold. The waiter nods as he passes and takes 2 cups, then another, balancing them with an easy hand that tells you he has done this many nights. The room breathes. It inhales the last talk and lets it go slowly. People stand in pairs or threes and touch a shoulder, a sleeve, a chair back. Soft thank yous, small smiles, no hurry. A man checks his watch and then puts it away. It is close to 11 now. Most will be in their rooms before long. Time bends with the room. It does not press. It keeps pace with comfort. A coat finds your shoulders. The fabric is cool on the chair back. You draw it close and feel the weight settle like a blanket. The warmth from your cup lingers in your palms, even though the cup is gone. In the corner, a small clock ticks under the hum, a gentle second hand that hides beneath the ship's deeper note. Each tick feels like a promise to carry you from here to your pillow. You look at the folded letter once more. Your name in the corner, the date at the top, one word crossed out and written again with care. The day is in there. The card game, the walk, the smell of polish and salt. You tuck the letter away. Not yet done, but safe. Morning can hold that task. Night asks for something else, to leave enough space for sleep to find you. You think of the New York post box you will use, the sound of the lid, the way the envelope will fall and be gone. The thought feels certain and light. A chair across the room tips an inch as someone rises. The waiter steadies it with 2 fingers before it can fall. The act is small and sure. It eases your heart by more than it should. Someone laughs at the door, but the laugh is soft, made to fit this hour. You hear "good night" again from another table, and it blends with the first as if the room collects these words and keeps them for later. Your skin feels the air change as people leave. The room grows cooler by a touch. The lamps seem lower without being lowered. You run a thumb over a thread in the cloth and find it smooth, the tiny loop settled. You listen for the waltz, but only the memory of it remains. The band's gentle thread has been tucked away, and a quieter thread has taken its place. You stand. The chair makes its small sigh. You slide it in out of habit. The table makes a light scrape as your sleeve brushes its edge. You thank the waiter with your eyes and a small nod. He replies with the same. Your friend touches your elbow. No more words, just a look that says everything was enough. You feel seen and settled. The room gives you back to yourself, the way a careful host returns a coat to your hands, smooth and ready. You carry your day in a lighter bundle now. The cup's warmth, the kind touch, the hum that holds the space. Each piece finds its place. Your steps find their place too. We step toward the corridor. It is quieter now. The air feels still and kind. A lamp throws a soft circle on the carpet, and your shoes land inside it. The hum walks with us. It leads us toward the hall that turns toward rest. Most of the ship is going to bed, doors closing with soft clicks, voices dimming. You keep your letters safe in your pocket. You carry the good nights like small lights in your chest. Somewhere ahead, a steward marks a final note on a list and turns a lamp a shade lower. The floor feels steady and familiar. We pause at the threshold for a breath and listen. The sound beneath our feet has a shape we know by now. If it tilts at all, it is only by a hair, the sort of thing you feel as mood more than fact. You let your shoulders drop and follow the slow pull of the hallway toward the room that waits with cool sheets and a glass of water set by the bed. Even in this quiet hall, you hear it first in your bones, the hum shifting its weight a fraction, as if the ship took a slow breath and let it out in a new shape. The lamps stay even. Your steps stay even. The mind notices only after the body does. We keep our pace soft. Can a ship's heartbeat change, and most of us not notice? You step into the corridor and feel the hum tilt a hair, as if the floor moved from one foot to the other. Maybe it's just the carpet under your shoes. Maybe it's your steps slowing after the last cup. The light along the wall is steady. Your breath is steady too, but there is a small difference in where the sound lives inside your chest. We listen without hurry. You pause. Another person down the hall pauses too. They touch the rail with 2 fingers, then shrug and keep walking. You let them go. You stay 1 more second with the hum. It is still the same note, deep and calm, but the room holds it a touch differently. You cannot name it. You do not have to. The corridor keeps its warm line of lamps. Your feet find the next small square of carpet. A steward stands near the stairs with a pencil and a narrow pad. He makes a last mark and blows a soft breath along the page, not to dry ink, just to finish the moment. He tucks the pad in his pocket. Another turns a lamp lower with a short twist. The shade's glow thins. Shadows sit down along the baseboard. The air feels thinner by a touch, as if an open door to the deck let a line of night slip in and linger. You know these small changes from other places. A kitchen quiets when the last pan is hung. A street softens when shop lamps dim. On a ship, the shifts hide inside sound. Subtle adjustments happen. Wind, a small turn, the steady speed holding while officers mark their notes. Nothing that asks for attention. Most people feel it is a mood, not a fact. We let that be enough and keep our pace easy. Your hand finds a framed photograph on a small table. It looks a hair off. You steady it with your thumb and forefinger. It wasn't really moving, only you were. The glass shows a pale shape of your sleeve and a bit of lamplight. You put it down where it was and step back. The picture holds still. Your pulse settles a little. The day has been long and kind, and tiredness softens your senses at the edges. You still carry the deck's cold kiss on your face, and the chair's warm shape on your back. You carry the taste of tea and the sight of silver going quiet. The hum meets all of that and mixes with it. Together they make a new sound, not louder, not slower, just rounder, like cloth rolled once more before it's put away. You move on, and the carpet takes each step like a secret. The corridor breathes with you. Boards creak once under the covering, small and honest, like an old house settling for sleep. The sound is not sharp. It comes and goes like a low yawn. You look up at nothing in particular. Your body understands the sign and lets your shoulders ease. Far ahead a door opens and closes. A narrow band of light crosses the hall and is gone. Your hand brushes the wall panel, smooth and cool from polish. You think of the steward who set his list away. The lines of duty move to a quieter place now. Fewer knocks, more listening. The ship holds the night without effort. We let it carry us. A small draught slips down the stairwell, faint with salt and coal. You taste the edge of it, and then it passes. Another steward checks a latch with 2 fingers, then turns toward the service nook. He lifts a jug, looks once at the level and fits it back. The soft click lands low, near your ribs. It says the last small jobs are done. You stop by a plant in a brass pot. A leaf points into the aisle. You turn it back toward the wall so it won't brush someone's coat. The act is tiny, but it feels like part of the work of the night. The hum sits under it all, steady but, yes, shaped a little differently. The way a song feels different when you hear it from a doorway instead of a chair. Your mind tries to decide if the ship has turned a hair. Earlier, officers adjusted course to keep faith with ice reports. The way careful hands draw a small bend in a line. Speed still holds. The rhythm below keeps its longshore measure. To you, it is only a shift in mood. The person from before has already turned the corner. You choose to let the question float. You hold on to what you can touch, the cool rail, the steady lamp, the soft give of the floor. A picture on the wall shows the ship in bright daylight. You remember the real light on the water today. The clean sky, the warm metal of the rail, the child with a postcard tapping a small finger on the funnels. That brightness has folded into this soft hour. Much of it is still here, only quieter. You allow that thought to settle. The deck creaks again just once, a small stretch and release. You feel it more than you hear it. Your heel pauses and then steps forward. A clock behind glass marks the minutes with a gentle tick. You do not look. You only know you are in time with it. Your mouth is not dry, but the idea of running water crosses your mind like a cool thread, clear and simple. The corridor narrows a touch near a bend. The light gathers in a small pool on the carpet. You pass through it like a fish through a warm stripe in a cool stream. In the hush you can hear cloth, not words, as two people pass each other and nod. Their coats make a soft brush, a sound as polite as a bow. The hum quiets in your awareness, though you know it has not changed. You come to a small table with a vase. The flower's head has dipped. It would do that by morning anyway. You move the vase an inch away from the edge, as if to keep it safe from a careless sleeve. You smile at yourself for the care, but you keep it there. Night makes caretakers of us all. We tend our small things and let big ones tend themselves. Your chest finds a slower rhythm. You decide that this is what you will keep from the day. Not the timetable, not the talk. The feeling of being held by many hands doing quiet work. Messages sent, courses checked, duties finished without a show. The hum may change shape, but it does not leave. We let it hold us. You choose trust, you let your shoulders sink and your jaw soften. The routine has not broken all day. It does not break now in this calm hall with its low lamps and clean air and steady line from stair to stair. Your feet thank you for the softer step. The coat finds a more natural place on your shoulders. A thin shiver from the boards reminds you that the sea is close on the other side of the wall. It speaks in small ways tonight. No splash, no slap, only a quiet hand moving under the hull. Somewhere, a door closes with a careful touch. Somewhere, a page turns and stops. The ship continues at her gate, unbothered, while people trade goodnights and stewards fold the last towels. We turn toward the room with an easy breath. The hum sits like a low lantern in your chest, steady, familiar, shaped by the hour. The lamps along the corridor lean lower, and the quiet asks for water and clean hands before rest. You feel ready to set the day down in simple steps, one small comfort at a time, and let the night draw closer. Silver put away, night let in begins with simple work at the washstand. You turn the tap and let the water run. It is clear and cold. It wakes your fingers, then your wrists. You wash slowly, as if time has widened. Soap slides once, twice, then rinses away. You close the tap and listen. Almost nothing moves. The cabin holds its breath with you. Your hands drip for a moment. Then you reach for the towel and press the cotton into each finger. A sound from far off finds the room, thin as a line of thread. You don't know what made it. A door? A step above? It fades before you can name it. Quiet folds back over the space. You breathe and feel the day move to the edges. The muscles along your neck give up a little more. You set the towel down and smooth its edge. The glass on the washstand shows a small halo of lamp light. The mirror returns your face, softer now than it was at tea. You sit on the edge of the bed and unlace your shoes. The leather breathes when it loosens. Your feet find the carpet and enjoy the warm pile. You think of the band and the way the bow hand floated like a bird that knew the wind. You see again the warm lamps, steady and kind. You remember the waiter's careful hands, the way he watched your glass without asking your eyes, and the door's cold brass, the sting at your palm. the night air sliding in like a clean note that held no grudge. The room keeps to its small rules, collar on the chair back, gloves folded in the hat, a handkerchief shaken once and squared. Luxury rituals keep moving, even when the ship meets its night. Order lives here. Calm is a habit you can pick up like a coat on a peg. You follow the lines without thinking much. Each small act lowers the flame of the day by a notch. You think of the silver that shone at dinner, patterns made for this ship, weight balanced to the hand. Those pieces are back in their drawers now, counted and wrapped by stewards with cloth and care. Lids down, sideboards closed, carts tucked quietly. Gatti's team knows the last task is making the room look as if a feast never happened. Silver put away means appetite put to rest. It also means hands free to welcome sleep. You left the key by the dish. Somewhere, a door latches with a soft click. Somewhere else a page turns, then stops, as if a reader has found the line that lets him sleep. Your ear finds these signs and puts them in a neat row. A coat sleeve brushes a panel out in the hall and hushes itself. A faint footstep goes by and ends with the small release of a shoe at rest. We fold the whole day into one soft bundle and set it by the bed. Sun across the rails, talk at tea, silver and music, and the slow walk past glass that breathed like a creature. We add the cold on the deck, the easy plans about breakfast, the letter folded and safe in your pocket. We tie it with a thin ribbon of the band's last chord and set it on the chair. Your mind looks at it once, then turns away, content to keep it near. The ocean air finds the seams. It touches the decks with fingers you cannot see. It is a patient guest. It comes in thin lines and sits quietly along the floor and under the door. Boards answer with the faintest stretch. The room feels sure in the way an old bridge feels sure, firm and kind, with a sense that much weight has passed safely here. You lay a palm flat on the blanket and feel the cloth cool, then warm under your hand. You loosen your collar and hear the tiny breath of a button sliding free. The bedspread folds back with a low rustle that sounds like paper in a friendly library. The sheet is cool on your fingers, then on your forearm. You lift the corner and slip one leg in, then the other. The mattress holds and gives in the right places. It remembers the shape of someone else from an hour ago, then lets that go and learns you instead. Your body carries the day into bed. Afternoon light still lingers on your cheeks in a faint heat. The deck's chill still brushes your nose, a ghost touch that fades as you breathe warm air through the blanket. The taste of tea sits at the back of your tongue, gentle as a slow song. The ship's hum threads through all of it and shapes it into something round and soft, a steady line that measures rest. You reach for the glass by the lamp. The water is clear and still. It smells like nothing. You take a sip and hold it for a second, then swallow and feel it travel. You set the glass down where it was, leaving a faint ring that will not last. You slide the letter from your pocket and place it beside the dish. You do not open it. You let it wait. Morning knows how to greet paper and ink. Night has other work. A draft brushes the curtain and makes a shallow wave. The fabric rises and drops like a quiet tide. You listen for any sound that means trouble and find none. What you hear is the ship's wide breath. A plank eases. A pipe ticks once as it cools. Far away, a hinge decides to rest. Each sound is small. Together, they make space for sleep to find you. You turn on your side and the pillow folds into your cheek. The linen smells clean, with a trace of starch that fades as it warms. Your ear sinks into the soft, and picks up the hum more clearly. It is a deeper note this close, like a drum held under a blanket. Your ribs fall into time with it, in, out, slow and even. Your eyes grow heavy. They hold a last picture of the staircase light, the rails glowing like lines drawn by a slow hand. The truths of night arrive when no one is asking them to. In this hour, you feel how large the ship is and how small a person can be within it, and how both thoughts can live together without strain. You feel held by the work of many hands you did not see. Stewards with lists, cooks with cloths, musicians with quiet bows, operators with keys, officers with eyes on the dark line ahead. The evening felt normal to most, such calm that many were already in their rooms by 11. Peace sat down beside routine, and they fit. You pull the blanket up to your chin. The wool is warm and a little rough, honest in the way that comforts. The last of the day eases out through your shoulders. It goes without a fight. You do not need to call it back. The air in the room rests. The lamp's glow lies low and steady, a small moon you can keep. You think once more of the silver, now quiet behind wooden doors, and of the music folded in its case. The same hands that set the table have closed the drawers. The same care that laid spoons in perfect lines has turned down blankets and set water by beds. Silver put away, night let in. The ship holds its course and the calm keeps its seat. You lie down feeling both held and humbled. The bed is kind. The night is plain. Your hands find stillness on the sheet. Your feet learn the pocket of warmth they made. The hum lives under you and promises to stay. We leave the light low and let that hum carry us. The calm you gathered moves into the room like breath, and the words you heard tonight soften to a thin thread as the lamp waits for its last small turn. Sleep finds you with the ship steady under your ribs, and we close our night's small circle here. You lie with the lamp low, hearing a quiet that feels earned. Silver went quiet. Music folded itself away. Steady hands did their work, and that softness became the memory history keeps. Survivors later spoke of a flat, calm sea, a still, starry bright, a night that seems safe. If this gentle journey brought you rest or a small spark of curiosity, subscribe and drift with us into more true nights from the past. Keep the day's warmth in your chest. Let routine be your hum. Let small rituals hold you. We'll meet you again soon.